Three.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Physique Factory podcast with myself, James Tildesley, and Connor Moran. So, Connor, what we're going to do today is literally just introduce ourselves and who we are, what we do, and whatnot. So, you want to start us off?
Yeah, and just let people know exactly what the Physique Factory is. So the Physique Factory is a collaborative coaching platform. And what we're trying to bring here is something bigger than what either of us could achieve by ourselves. So we're trying to create a bigger community, and we're trying to create a platform where when you become a client of ours and when you train with us for 6 months or a year or whatever, once you've done that, you've learned all the things you need to know, and you're in a position where if you wanted to, you could go off and be very confident in the gym and know exactly what you're doing, kind of handle your own nutrition, your own training. We obviously don't want you to leave, but we want to give you the tools that you need for life, so that you can always maintain the physique that you want to have. We're looking, as I say, to build that community feeling, through things like, Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups. And we're also looking at things like, weekly calls with our clients and going over various different subjects, whatever clients are struggling with, you have that chance to get that one-on-one time with us. Although, James obviously is a one-to-one PT in Whitworth, is it, James?
Whitworth, Rochdale.
Yeah. And I'm one-to-one PT in Auchterarder in Scotland, and in Perth as well. But yeah, like, even though like a lot of our clients will be, from our one-to-one, they'll obviously spend a lot of time with us. Some of our clients we're hoping to start to bring in more and more online clients as well. So these weekly calls will give those online clients that one-on-one time that they need with us. Also, the main aim of this is to produce some awesome transformations, because myself and James is, that's what we like to do.
Definitely. I mean, our service, there's going to be plenty of different things that we offer. So we've got the value package where we start off, which will be the 12-week transformation. Then we've got our gold and then platinums for the online coaching. And then we've got our own personal training services on the side of that. So what we're going to go into now is like what makes us different as coaches.
Yeah, and a little bit about who we are as well. And if we've not sold you already, probably as well turn this off now. So let's start with you, James. And I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions. What was it that first got you into the gym? What started you off training?
I've been in the gym since I was like 16, on and off up until I was like 20, and then I started taking it really seriously. I did my PT when I was like 18 though, but I was still up and out of the gym. I was a golfer before then. And then I think soon as I stopped playing golf, I was trying to find something that I enjoyed, and it turned out to be the gym. So I put everything into that, got addicted to that like I was with golf. And then, so I was doing that all the time. And then when I was around about 2021, I came across JP, and it sort of inspired me going down the route of bodybuilding, and then started.
So you went from Tiger Woods to JP.
That's it, yeah. Good crossover. But
so you're quite serious into golf, yeah.
I was, and then obviously now I've got muscles. I can't really swing a club that much anymore.
The mobility's went to shit. Is golf quite a big thing around about where you live?
Not as much as where you live.
No, I know. I live right next to a golf course. I've hardly played around a golf in my life as well.
Wow. But yeah, it depends. I just got brought up into that environment with my dad. He loved golf, and then I liked it, and then just started playing it every day and got addicted to it. And
so you would say you've always been quite sporty?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, I mean, like I love football. I'm a Man United fan, unfortunately, at the moment. But yeah, and then obviously started off getting into the bodybuilding after joining the JP side.
Seen one JP video, and that was it.
That was it. Oh, massive, yeah.
So you have you obviously went on to like compete from there. So like, how did you get into that?
A couple of people at the gym, I thought they competed, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That might be something to do, because I had no goal. There was no direction or anything that I wanted to do. So I thought, let's do it and see what happens. So the first one I did was one of my friends helped me prep. Jamie Gray, he helped me a lot. He got to
can you get a picture up on your screen? Share the screen. Showing some pictures of your first season. Sorry, I'll do it as well. Don't worry. I'll get my embarrassing photos up.
I'll tell you what, I'll get it on my phone and show you. It wasn't that.
It'd be quite good for the YouTube. Let the guys see it.
I mean, the condition wasn't the best.
It's all right. Everyone's first show is the same.
Yeah, I've noticed from pictures that people post the first show and last show. And then, so I competed 2017, 2018, and then I've not competed since then, but I'm competing this year in August, September, October. So it's going to be a bit of a stretch.
What show are you planning on doing, James?
I've got the first one, Two Bros, Maidenhead. You can literally just show up, and that's just a qualifier. You don't have to place, you can just qualify because I want to do the Arnolds, which is
cool.
a bit of a money maker. But
no, let's not get into the politics.
I know.
But yeah, that's cool.
I'm just literally scrolling back because I've not posted anything for a while on Instagram in terms of competing. I think it's because I've not reposted anything after the last show because my condition was shit. So I'll show you 2018. That was me in 2018.
All right. So what would that be like? Your second show?
That'd be third. I competed twice in 2017, and that was the two in 2018. But yeah, it was. I won that one, just a local show, which is pretty cool. And I pretty much left it at that, and then did another show where I placed third, I think.
So that was men's physique. You done that show?
Men's physique. I'll be doing men's physique again this year. I think. In fact, I'm just going to get lean and then see how I'm doing, and then decide what class I'm going to be looking at doing.
Yeah, there seems a lot of crossover, like on that, that kind of side of things. Because like who I competed with, BNBF, like they didn't even they are offering something now this year, but they've never even offered like men's physique. And I would get slagged to death in the gym if I'd done men's physique anyway, so there's no way. But yeah, so like we'll get on about me later, but I never even had choice of men's physique, but there seems a lot of crossover from people going from men's physique and then seeing it as like kind of progress to open bodybuilding. Yeah. Obviously,
it's just that start level. You don't have to be it depends what federation. You don't have to be absolutely huge for men's physique. Start off with that and then and build up.
Although some of these guys, some of the top guys are pretty fucking big.
Ridiculous now, just bodybuilders in shorts.
So so your first show, how did that actually go? Where did you play?
Fucking hell, about 4th or 5th. That was UK BFF, if they're still a thing now, because I know they was absolutely awful and the reputation that they got. But again,
you're gonna hurt a lot of feelings if any of these people ever listen to this, which they probably won't anyway. So shouldn't.
Hopefully not. No, I hope they are.
Was that quite a big class?
Yeah, it was massive, literally huge. There was about 25 people in the class. Yeah, and that was the first one we ever done. I thought, fucking hell, is every show like
25 is pretty good.
Yeah.
454 wouldn't be so good, but 425 is pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't place, but yeah, I was up there. I think I saw the scorecard at the end, which I thought, oh, that's not too bad. Yeah, it was juniors as well.
Oh,
and then I did after that, finished third at I can't remember what it was called now. It's still going on. The federation's still a thing. That was a show in Manchester. Can't remember.
It'd be worrying if like every federation you went to just like went under it.
Yeah.
Say more about you.
Yeah, so that was it for competing, and then obviously competed in 2018 and won the one show and placed third in the other. But yeah, hopefully they do.
How did you what kind of came next? And obviously after competing and becoming a PT, how did you get to where you are now? What was kind of the next steps for you?
So I was a PT.
You actually had quite an interesting career so far, really, because you've been in it like FLF and places like that. So
yeah, so what did I do? So I first started PTing when I was 2015, 2016, and then I started competed from that. And then after I competed, I was at uni for 3 years studying sports science, strength conditioning. So getting into the academic side of things, which I really enjoyed. So I saw JP went to uni and I thought, you know what, I want to do whatever he did because he was my idol at the time. And But yeah, and I'm not really glad that I went there, learned some stuff, and just kind of sort of apply that stuff to clients. It's not, it's difficult to apply academics to clients, but I'm glad I went and possibly go back in the future, do a master's. And then when I was in my last year at uni, obviously all this shit show of COVID happened and whatnot, and yeah, it was a pain in the ass. So everything went to online, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try working full time somewhere. So the opportunity came up at FLF. So I did the internship there, learned a few things from the owner James, which was really good. And then I worked there for about 4 or 5 months. And obviously then the other lockdown happened. and it just went to shit again. And then it just didn't work out too well because I was still at uni and it was hard to juggle things. And then I ended up working at Metcon in Whitworth, which probably one of the best things that's happened to me.
Yeah, that's cool. FLF would have been a good experience for you as well, as you say, like the internship and everything. And it looks like quite a cool place to actually, work out of. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And then obviously from there, like, how did you get into like? So we probably should have said we actually met on a course. We met on an Integra foundations course. So anyone that knows anything about like biomechanics and that, they'll know exactly who Michael Goulden is. And obviously he is he runs RTS course here in the UK. And me and James went down to do the foundation level, and that's how we obviously met. But how did you end up on that course, James? What drove you to that?
So what was it? I think it was Joe Bennett when I was looking into RTS. He kept bringing up, like, when he first came out in like 2017, 18, he kept going on about RTS, and I was like, who the fuck are RTS? So I looked into that. Resistance training specialist by Tom Purvis, which is a really, really smart guy. And I thought, right, I want to learn some stuff. And then obviously found out where the provider would be, and that was Michael Goulden at Integra. And he's probably the smartest guy I've met in terms of like exercise mechanics and personal training. So I definitely recommend trying out their courses and getting booked onto them.
Definitely. It's one of the best things I ever done as well. And just some of the stuff Michael comes away with, we were talking about, I'm sure we were talking about the foot one of the times we were down there, and something like you can name every like muscle and bone in the foot and that. And like, it's something, when I'm trying to learn it personally, that shit is confusing. I'm getting good at my bones down there now, but the muscles are that's another level.
Yeah, it's class. And I think when I was saying like the academia stuff when I was at uni, that stuff's really hard to apply. And Michael's totally the opposite of that. And he's so easy to learn from and to apply that stuff with your clients. And when you go back, you start looking at things differently after you've learned that stuff.
Eyes, definitely. We were just talking about that before we came on, actually, like the things that we see now that you might not have noticed before. But if you don't know to look for something, you won't see it.
Okay, it's like the Matrix, isn't it? When you're just looking at exercise and you got all these fucking numbers and
it's like if you don't get into the kind of mechanics side of thing, you probably go the rest of your life just being quite happy, going to the gym, training, enjoying yourself. But once you do, like I find even when I train now, it's like you can't stop thinking about this shit.
It's cool. I mean, your clients deserve that, don't they?
Aye, they certainly do. I've got a little guest here who's just opened the door on me. 2 seconds. Yes. Sorry. Where were we? Where were we? Whole new set of eyes is basically what we're saying. Like, personally, as I say, when I'm in the gym, like, I can't just jump on a machine now. I can't just jump on and start doing some reps. Like today, I'm training chest, and that's it. You're thinking about a million different things because your eyes have been open to all these different things that actually are happening. So,
get on the podcast.
Aye. Yeah. So that's kind of you, James, isn't it?
That's me. Let's talk about you. So how do you get into this industry? Where do you start off training?
Well, mine sounds yours sounded really good. You've obviously at least got the golf background. I was into like drinking and smoking when I was younger. I didn't really play any sports. I watched football. And cool. Like I suppose like for me,
are you Rangers or Celtic?
Celtic, of course. Go on. As this is recording top of the league, that might even change today. But so when I was younger, obviously, like I was one of those people, I lived for the weekend, and I began actually like when I left school, and I actually started working with my dad, who's a stonemason. He's got his own company doing that, so that was an obvious kind of route for me to go down. And I suppose I just kind of relied on that. It's like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. So I just kind of finished school, started doing that, getting some money, so I could go out the weekends. As sad as that was, and for the next kind of few years from there was kind of just about like going out the weekend. However, when I was 16, and this is incredibly embarrassing, I had been watching Geordie Shore.
Oh yeah.
Of course, I'm embarrassed to say I ever watched that. And they guys were going to the gym, and obviously they were getting a lot of girls. So I was like, right, Okay, that's what I need to do. I need to go to the gym. So I got a membership at like the local gym in the town that I lived in. It was just like a small kind of school gym. It was like, I can't even remember what was in it, just a rake of machines. And I just basically went around them, done every single one of them, and then done some ab workout. And that was my routine.
Full body every day.
Yeah, but it was a
Definitely.
start. It got me in there, and that's the main thing. Like for anyone that is thinking about like starting training, it's just get in there, and it doesn't matter if what you're doing is right. Just get in there, get a start, and it'll make you how it can start snowballing from there. And that's
Everyone's got
exactly what
started,
happened.
haven't
Like I suppose I just got more and more into it. I had like a lad's holiday coming up in Malia, so like that was the kind of the goal. So I was wanting to get shredded for that, wanting to get abs for that, I suppose. And I thought the way to do that was by training them every single day. That didn't really happen. It didn't really happen the way I wanted it to. But like over that kind of period, things started to like, I started to eat healthier, I cut down on smoking, I was actually that guy that was leaving the gym, having a protein shake and smoking a fag as well, walking up the street, which is terrible. I would never obviously do that now, but like,
so many of those people though, isn't there?
yeah, definitely. But, like, as I say, just snowballed from there. And I got less and less into the going out the weekends and things like that because I realized, right, this is actually impacting my progress. And, that became more important to me than going out the weekend. I finally had this kind of focus and something to, give me something to do, I suppose, apart from that. So yeah, I kind of started to grow arms and legs even more when one of my old school friends, he'd been training in at this gym in Perth called the Body Academy, and like I'd heard a lot about it, and you just got this impression it was full of like guys on like steroids and that, and you were kind of scared to go there, but he came and started training with me through in the town I lived in for a wee while, and once he was going back to the Body Academy, he's like, you should come through and start training there. So yeah, that was it. Once I went in, I've never obviously trained anywhere else. I've been there for the last 8 years since then. I mean, it turns out the place that I thought was full of guys on steroids, there obviously is a few. There's a few in every gym, but it's actually like kind of the home of natural bodybuilding in a sense, because the people that own it run the BNBF. So very quickly, I was kind of roped into competing, and the guy who had taken me through there, Dave, he was like, oh, you should compete, you'll be in as a teen or whatever, you should compete, you probably do pretty well. And yeah, that was that. I was like, okay, I'll go for it. I didn't really know what it actually involved, so I was just like, yeah, no bother, this will be fine. And before I know it, I'm absolutely starving. I'm counting down the days until the show. But I'll get up a little picture here. I'm not afraid to show my first show pictures.
Can't see it.
Let's just see. I'm trying to think where it'll even be. 2 seconds, and I'll share my screen. Need to go into my old Instagram as well because I've not got any on this newer one. Where the fuck is it? Okay, I can't get up in there. It's probably on Facebook actually. You know what? I've actually probably got the photos on this laptop. Let's see. Apologies for the people listening to this on Spotify because this is going to mean absolutely nothing to you. All right, here we go. Here we go. Right, I'll go share my screen. For those of you on YouTube, at least you'll get to see this. Here we go. I've got the whole folder of the photos on here actually. So my first show was the BNBF Scottish, where I wasn't a teen after all, I was actually a junior, so that's me there. All tanned up. But obviously didn't have much lats at that time either. Probably still don't have a hell of a lot. But let's see if I can get some individual ones. Some routine photos. But yeah, I quite like that one. It's probably the best out of the bunch. But yeah, that was my first show, the BNBF Scottish. And if there's photos from the end of it, I actually came second in that one, which I was quite happy with in junior class.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that was actually not too bad. But unfortunately, that's about as good as it gets because I have a thing for finishing second, James. I'm good at finishing second. So the next year I went on to compete again. I took, a year or so to like add some mass. I went on to compete again. So let's just see, is there any photos I actually like in this one?
Second again.
But yes, second again, if I remember right.
At least you're not going down.
Aye. So I didn't look a hell of a lot different in this one, maybe a wee bit better. Yeah, that's not great. I'm not impressed with that. But let's see if we've got like the I think I did come second in this one. Should have a photo of like, oh, holy shit, there's a lot of these. There's bound to be like the kind of winner shows, the winner photos. Here we go. So here's the top 4 in that one as well. So once again, yeah, second.
I don't think the picture's actually coming up when you click on it.
Yeah, can you see it? Yeah.
It's not opening. It's still like you got a load of pictures on the screen, and then it's not like opening on the one that you click on.
Was it not? What about if I do that?
Nothing.
Oh shit. Right, 2 seconds. We'll get a photo of me at some point now. Let's try open with. This is really going to be shit to listen to now. Any better?
Yeah, still nothing.
Oh, really? I don't know why it's doing that. No idea. Right. I have no idea what I can do. Anyway, so I came second again that year. Came second again that year. That's the take home there. I'm obviously not getting on very well with this. I'll stop sharing my screen then. And yeah, I came. Oh, that's my video. Stop sharing. I'm not doing very good here at all. So yeah, second again that year to a very good Steve McDonald. He's actually a very good kind of natural bodybuilder. So again, I was pretty happy with that. Went on to do the British finals that year and came 4th in Britain in junior class. So I was pretty happy with that as well. So after that, like my kind of plan was, right, I'll take a kind of long off season and come back. I would be in men's open the next time. So like I knew I needed to take at least a year off, which I thought was a long time, but it's not really in terms of like building muscle and trying to look totally different when you come back to the stage. A year is not a lot of time. So anyway, I took that and I came back in 2018 and done the men's open then in the lightweight class, and I came third in that at the Scottish show, which I thought I was going to do better. I'm not going to lie. I thought I would have done better than that, but just like in terms of like muscle maturity, like the 2 guys that beat me in that show, they were just. They had more. They've been training for longer than me. They had more maturity. They were just better than me. I realized then I was maybe not at the stage I thought I was, and there was a lot more work to do. I did go on and do another show 2 weeks after that, just because I was in shape anyway. So I went and done again another BNBF show, just a different qualifier, and again came second by like one judge's vote as well, which was pretty annoying. But anyway, that's what happens. And then I competed again. That was in. No, I didn't compete again. Sorry, I dieted again in 2020, and then that's when all the COVID shit happened. And I done the whole prep that year. The show got put back, and then I was like, okay, that's fine. Refocus, go again. And then like 3 days before the show, it got put back again for another 4 weeks. Like it was a bit of a fuck up because like the venue had agreed to it and everything, and then like the local chief of police ended up shutting it down for some reason. I have no idea why. So then the BNBF had to try and get it kind of sorted and like rearrange it and everything. And they'd done their best, but the best they could do was like 4 weeks. I think there was some sort of like mini lockdown down there or something as well. I can't remember how it worked because it was meant to be in like I'm sure it was like Crawley or something like that, south of London. And I'm sure there was some sort of like they moved into a different.
Oh, there was tiers
Here or something. Yeah. So like, they had to quickly rearrange. But for me, like at that stage, I was just like, I had nothing left. I had nothing left to give. And I was in really good shape, obviously the best shape of my life. I'd definitely gained a lot of size going into that year, like in 2018 I competed. I was only 64 kilos. I'm small, I'm natural. So I was only 64 kilos. But then in 2020 when I dieted, my final kind of weight was 67 kilos. So I'd put on 3 kilos since then, which for a natural I'd say is pretty decent. So I was looking a hell of a lot better, but like just the way it worked out, I had nothing left in me by that point. I was done. I remember even like struggling to walk up the stairs at that point because I was like doing a carb up and like my calves just felt so pumped up and just so full of like glycogen and water that like every step I took was like painful. It was just like no good. And then when I heard it got put back 4 weeks, I was like, fuck this, I've got nothing left to give here. So yeah, that's my kind of competing history. In terms of like,
how long have you been personal training for?
So I've only actually been personal training since the beginning of 2020. It was something I wanted to do for a long, long time. And I'd done like my level 2 PT must have been like 2018 or something like that. And then I eventually got the level 3 done. And then I never actually started till like 2020. Great time to start, of course. So like I literally just kind of got a start, and then the lockdown came, and then I got a kind of good start after the lockdown again. And then the other one came in January of what was that? January 2021,
Yeah.
it must have been, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is the first good run I suppose I've really had this last kind of not even a year yet, since April was the first proper good run I had at it. But once I started PETing, I very quickly like I somehow found like the stuff from M10, and like I signed myself up to their mentorship. So they done like a 6-month program where they just basically take you through everything you need to know as a PT. Because if anyone's listening to this that is thinking about becoming a PT, the level 3 PT courses isn't going to teach you everything you need to know. It's it obviously teaches some stuff, but like you kind of have to look to further educate yourself. Otherwise, you're not really going to be in a position to
so bad, the PT courses at the moment. I mean, since we started learning the stuff with Integra and RTS, it's like, what the hell? I was like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
so bad.
Of course, you need it anyway, don't you? Like, you need to get a qualification, and it's all going to be valuable to know. But like, there's gaps, isn't there? There's definitely gaps.
Somewhere. I mean, my girlfriend's doing her PT course, and
Yeah.
there's one of the questions on it, and it was include a functional exercise in your training plan. And I was like, functional. I was like, so I got her to email the training provider back and said, what's a functional exercise? And then they turned around and they said, oh, instead of using a dumbbell, use a kettlebell. And I was like, what the fuck? I was going to leave that.
Fuck's sake. But the M10 mentorship is like everything the level 3 PT course should be, if you know what I mean. Or all the extra stuff it should include. So, anyone that has done their level 3 and they're feeling a little bit out of their depth and they've not got that kind of confidence, I would highly recommend doing M10's mentorship. Really, really good, really, really valuable, well worth the initial investment I made into it. Well worth it. It's like would have returned itself probably tenfold by now. So I'd recommend that to anyone. So yeah, that was a really good head start for me. And then from there, like I just kind of got off on the right track, I suppose. Like for years and years, I put off doing the PT thing, probably down to confidence more than anything, and worried about what other people thought. And then eventually, I just went for it. And I suppose a bit like you, James, I just go all in with stuff. Like I was kind of all in with the bodybuilding for years, and I think that's why I didn't really care so much about like PT, and I was quite happy just doing like doing the job I was doing, and just like bodybuilding. But then my focus kind of changed, and I just deep dived into this shit. And yeah, once I'd done the M10 course, I'm sure they actually recommended going to see Michael at Integra. And then another guy in the Body Academy, actually, he's went and done foundations. He suggested it to me as well. So I checked out online and I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go for this. This is the next step. And I suppose like I'd done a little bit of mechanics on the M10 mentorship, but this was kind of like next level. And it was like, I don't know, I just kind of found something I enjoyed doing. It's sadly fun to me. Now I've got, skeleton models and a new spine model in my house. I'm that kind of guy now.
Really, I mean, I go to the gym and I've got some like a baggage, weigh up scale thing, and put it on the machines and seeing where it's heaviest at certain points in the ranges, and people are like, what the fuck is he doing?
I remember seeing the muscle mentors doing that, and I was like, that will never be me. I used to slag people that use bands and things like that, and the truth is I just didn't understand why. I just thought they were trying to make it easier. So I'm like, fuck that, why would you make it
Everyone says that, every time I use a band with a client, I was like, oh, doesn't this make it easier? I'm like, well, technically it's going to make it harder, but I'll show you why.
I suppose it depends on the way you use it as well, but like most of the time we're using it to try and create that full range challenge. So for those that don't even know what that is, something like a leg press is a really good example, where when you do a leg press, it's going to be a lot harder at the bottom than it is going to be at the top. So if you can manage 200 kilos at the bottom, you can maybe manage 500 kilos at the top. So what we do with the band, obviously, is band that up so that we're adding extra tension to the top. So you're still getting that extra challenge at the top, and you're getting the same challenge at the bottom. Does that make sense? If I explained that well?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So you go through things like pressing, Smith machines, and then you start analyzing equipment like
again, like something we found. Well, I found out when I went to you. Would have known from uni, but I found out when I went to Integra. I was like, a muscle is stronger and weaker at different points in the range. So that's why we need to kind of adjust well, sometimes need to adjust things. We don't always. Sometimes you get some great machines that, you know, have been designed in a way that it does drop off. And I'm kind of lucky where I'm training at the Body Academy. A lot of the machines are really, really good. A lot of like kind of Cybex stuff and, you know, Gym 80 stuff and things like that. And you're obviously, you're even luckier where you are because you get to pick some stuff.
Look at the machines. I mean, we've got like 4 machines coming in next week. We've got 2 Cybex shoulder presses, some arc trainers, and possibly something else, maybe. But we'll see.
So yeah, but I've become known as like the machine guy or the cables guy now because of all this. People seem to think like you abandon the basics. Well, that's it. People seem to think you abandon the basics, like, you know, like squats and deadlifts and you know, bench press, and you know, for some people, for some of us, those are great exercises. But then for some people, like a few of my clients, for instance, and a lot of kind of gen pop people, it might not be always the best option. You've just kind of got to. What I've learned, obviously, throughout all this is you've got to look at who you've got in front of you, what's appropriate for them, and yeah, what they can tolerate.
Exactly, that's it. That's all the stuff that we learn with Michael and Integra.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, there's various other factors that obviously come into things as well. You know, sleep, stress, digestion, all those kind of things that as I say, the level 3 PT just does not even tell you about.
This is what gets onto the next thing. So this is what makes us different from other coaches and PTs, that our education from this ongoing like learning process that we do. We're always trying to improve our services with our clients, what can make it better. And these are the courses and what we learn in terms of what Con just said then: sleep, stress, digestion, health, all these different markers that we track and we measure, as well as like the training things.
Again, appropriate to the client as well. Like, you know, you wouldn't go measuring like, you know, certain things like fasted blood glucose on, you know, a random, you know, 50-year-old woman you've got coming in that wants to lose a little bit of weight. You know, it's got to be kind of appropriate for that person. You never know, that woman might need their glucose checked right enough. That I don't know if that's a great example.
No, that's why we ask like questions, isn't it? So we've got a questionnaire that we'll send over, and anything comes up, say that if your woman, her blood glucose is fine, she's not diabetic, then we wouldn't really want to track that. But if she came around and she said, was that, oh, I've been told that my blood sugar is high, then we've said, right, that might be something that we want to track.
Exactly. Client defined, which is what everything needs to be, I suppose. I think like even when I first started PTing, I was like, okay, this is what I do in the gym, so this is what you're going to do. and again, like even from
that's the normal people.
Yeah, definitely. Your point of view as well is like, you know, JP's doing this in the gym, I'm going to go do that. That doesn't mean it's the best thing for you just because he's doing it that a certain way.
I've seen people do things. So it's like a trend. Every month, there's always something different.
A new exercise, that
he was doing new on videos, and everyone would try it. And then I'd see PTs copying what he was doing with their clients. I'm like, that really shouldn't be the exercise doing.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, that's just a fitness industry in general, isn't it?
Well, that's it. But I suppose everyone's got their own opinions, their own philosophies, but you just got to make sure it makes sense for the person that's in front of you and it's appropriate for their goals, which is the main thing.
Any like emotional attachments behind any like training methods or what we should do. It's just, again, like you said, if it's appropriate to that individual that we're working with.
Yeah. Exactly. As you said, people get that emotional attachment. You know, the bench press is the best exercise for training your chest, or the squat's the best exercise. Or like even the other extreme, people are like, oh no, don't ever use barbells, just use machines. You know, there's two opposite ends of the spectrum, and the answer is very rarely at one end. You know, it's somewhere in the middle, or whatever. As I say, whatever's right for that person. But people take sides, don't they? It's like, you know, the machine brigade, and then the opposite. You know, barbells only. So
people say machines are easy. I was like, no, you don't understand.
Well, it's as easy as you make it, I suppose.
It is. I mean, so the difference, well, it's not a mechanics podcast, this at all, but the difference between the bench press is you could probably lift more potentially with a machine. That's why you can see people loading up these hammer strength presses, because there's more stability, it's guided, you're more restrained into it. With a barbell, you've got the path that's where is a restraint of the bar, your hands being fixed to that, but it's still not as stable or supported as a machine would be. So that's just an easy.
So when that would come in as well is like if you've got a client that's untrained, a bench press isn't going to be likely isn't going to be the best starting point for them.
They haven't the ownership of controlling that rep.
Yeah, exactly. A machine press with, as you say, a kind of a fixed path of motion is going to be more appropriate for them, because if they've not got that, if they're lacking stability, trying to handle a heavy barbell is not going to be the best thing for them. It might be something you build up towards if they want to do that. If that's something they want to do, you might build up towards that. But sometimes it might not be the most appropriate kind of starting point for someone. And again, it's looking at who you've got in front of you. I think I've said that about a million times now, but it's looking at who you've got in front of you there, isn't it?
That's what it is. That's all it is.
And that's as you say, that's what's going to make us different. Don't get me wrong, there's loads and loads of good coaches out there that also think along those lines. But yeah, as you say, it's like that kind of constant pursuit of mastery. I think that's the way Mark Coles puts it across. The constant pursuit of mastery is just constantly.
You never be a master.
Yeah, you'll never be a master. You've just got to keep going and going.
That's another thing that triggers me when I see, oh yeah, I've done my master PT course, my master PT. So bad.
Well, that's exactly it. So yeah, I think that's everything kind of covered up for today. We were going to look at doing our next podcast. We were looking at fitness myths as well, weren't we? That's what our next one was going to be on. So definitely keep your eye out for that one, guys. We did actually have a couple of questions, didn't we? That we were going to throw in here. And the first one is from Damien Harrier, who was asking. He wanted to know what Connor's calf training routine was, so that he knows what not to do. Sorry. So yeah, I have been training them twice per week, and obviously it's not working because Damien thinks they're obviously quite small still, which they are. I'll accept that. But yeah, standing calf raise twice per week, Damien. That's what I've been doing. So don't do that if you want big calves, because it's clearly not working for me. And the other one we had was actually I think it's someone Brandon Bowie.
Oh yeah. The hamstring one.
Yeah, he was asking what the best way to build hamstrings were.
So I think he said, "What's the best exercise for hamstrings?" Didn't they, or something? We answered him back anyway when we talked about it and discussed it. So it's like everything. There's no such thing as the best exercise as an absolute that everyone should do, because that's just unethical and wrong. Everyone's different. Like we're saying, it depends on who's in front of you, what we've got available, what's the goal, what can we tolerate, things like that. So someone might be able to do an RDL for get a lot out of the hamstrings, but then another person might load the back, they might have back issues. You might want to stay away from posterior loading like that, and maybe just use a seated leg curl, a bit more stable and braced. So it totally depends on who's in front of you and what's the goal and what can they tolerate. Again, that's one of the other incentive RCS things that we learned.
Which is a bit of a shitty answer for people. So it's like
it depends. It always comes down.
It depends. But I mean, generally, I suppose imagining this person, has the ability to get into an RDL and do a deep RDL, and there's no issues mobility wise, put it that way, and no injuries, things like that. Generally speaking, what would we say? Kind of like an RDL, what would you call it? A hip extension exercise and probably a leg curl.
Yeah, I'd say it's like in general, there'll be so you got a seated leg curl, lying leg curl. They're a little bit different from each other. They're loading the muscle at different ranges. Then you got the RDL, which loads the hamstrings in a more lengthened range. So I'd say you want to have a mix of different exercises that load the muscle in a different range.
Yeah, definitely.
So definitely including variation of each one.
Yeah, like hip extension wise, you could be looking at, RDL, you could be looking at a 45-degree extension. I suppose deadlift comes into that as well. What else have we got there?
Yeah, we got 45-degree, haven't we?
Yeah. I mentioned that. You got that kind of glute ham raise thing as well. Which obviously kind of similar to a 45-degree hip extension. So yeah, you've got them, and then obviously, as you say, you've got seated leg curl, you've got lying hand curl, and you get some standing ones as well. But I've never found them to be great personally. No,
I mean the kneeling one, that's the Cybex one. That's probably one of the favorite ones that I've seen the singles. Out of the other ones, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah. You get a kneeling version, and then you do get. Well, I've used one before that is just like a standing one, and I'm pretty sure it just drops off massively at the top to the degree that there's no weight. The one I used anyway. But then again, this is something we should probably mention. All machines from different brands are going to be different in the way that they can distribute loads. So another thing to look out for. We've probably given people loads of like questions here more than answers. But that's
if you train at Pure Gym or commercial gym, chances are you've got some Matrix kit, which probably isn't the best and needs some work doing. And also another thing is the reps and the frequency and the load and the volume, all that sort of stuff. That's just person dependent. We can't just say do 5 sets of 10. That's just not right. So it depends on who you are. If you're just starting off, and it depends, and obviously the intensity and how close we are training to failure.
I think a big thing we missed was consistently training them.
Yeah, that's it.
Actually training them every week. That's a big thing. It's something I didn't do to begin with. That's just quads. And then never like consistently trained them. And then I did start consistently training them, and now I'd probably say they're pretty good, to be honest now.
Wicked.
So yeah, consistency is going to be massive with everything that you do. You know, whether it's your nutrition, whether it's your training, consistency is probably one of the biggest things that you've got to get nailed down. Otherwise, if you're not consistent with any of your approaches, how are you going to know if they're going to work?
Exactly. I mean, it's the form as well in terms of training. Form's one of those things where if you're not consistent with that, you're just going to see the results of it probably in an injury.
Well, that's it, and then that puts you out of the game for even longer. So yeah, that's probably a good place to wrap up, James. I think we've gone for long enough. I don't know how long we've actually been on for. There's no timer I can see on this, but yeah, that's probably long enough for today. So we'll be back the next time with fitness myths. So if you've any fitness myths you'd like us to bust or have a wee chat about, feel free to send them into us on like Instagram. So our handle on Instagram is, I'm just trying to remember what it is now. It's
Physique Factory _ Physique Factory _
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it should be in the kind of show notes as well, and up on YouTube as well. So it should be easy enough to find. So if you guys have got any questions or want anything you guys want us to cover next week, then please do feel free to send us a message, and we'll be happy to help out. And we'll take this kind of last opportunity just to talk about our 12-week challenge that we're going to be running through the Physique Factory. So the starting date for that was going to be 7th of April. We good with that, James? We did confirm that, didn't we?
Can do, yeah. So wait until we're actually running our own 12-week transformations at the moment, and then when they're finished, the next block will be starting in April. It would be the start to the mid of April.
Yeah, then, so like 7th, kind of 14th, round about then. But we'll get that nailed down. Which is going to be our kind of entry level or value service. So it'll consist of obviously 12 weeks of online coaching. And we're looking for people that are looking to like transform the way that they look in that 12 weeks. So people who are ready to kind of hit the ground running and give everything they've got for 12 weeks in order to reach their goals. So yeah, if that's something you would be interested in, obviously reach out to us on the Facebook page, and you will get our early bird price if you reach out within the next week or so. So yeah, but we're going to be starting at the middle of April, and we're looking for people like you that are looking to totally transform the way they look.
Cool. That's about everything.